The Making of a Slave. December 25th, 1712. Gentlemen, I greet you here on the brink of the James River in the year of our Lord, 1712. First, I shall thank you, the gentlemen of the colony of Virginia, for bringing me here. I am here to help you solve some of your problems with your slaves. Your invitation reached me on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and where I have experimented with some of the newest and still the oldest methods of controlling the Negro slave. Ancient Rome would envy us if my program is implemented. As our boat sailed south of the James River, named after our illustrious king, whose version of the Bible, which is the New Testament, the Testament, I saw enough to know that your problem is not unique. While Rome used cords of wood and crosses for standing human bodies along its highways in great numbers, you are here using a tree and a rope on the occasion. I caught the smell of a dead slave hanging from a tree a couple of miles back. You are not only losing valuable stock by these hangings, you are having uprisings, slaves are running away, your crops are sometimes left in the fields too long for maximum profit, you suffer occasional fires, and your animals are killed. So it looked like we were doing a little retaliation. Praise Yahuwah for that. Gentlemen, you know what your problems are. I do not need to elaborate. I am here not to enumerate your problems. I am here to introduce you to a method of solving them. Here in my bag, I have a foolproof method of controlling your black Negro slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if installed correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. That makes it 2012. We're in 2025 right now. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves and make the differences bigger. Again, I have outlined a number of differences among the Negro slaves and make the differences bigger. I use fear, I use distrust, and I use envy for control of them. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of differences and think about them. On the top of my list is age. That's why we don't tolerate, any idiots, amongst, this DFG in the day messenger group who focus on someone's age. I don't give a damn if you're 20 or 70. I don't give a shit about your age. I care about your heart for your people. Don't ever be telling me about your age. I don't care. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, size of plantation, and status on plantations. Attitude of the owners, whether the slave live in a valley or on a hill, east, west, north, south on this flat earth. Whether they have fine hair or coarse hair. Coarse hair is woolly hair. Fine is straight, stringy hair. Like dogs. Now that you have a list of the differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I assure you that distrust is stronger than trust. I assure you that distrust is stronger than trust. And envy stronger than adulation or respect over or admiration. I'll read that again. I assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy, jealousy, bitterness is stronger than recognition, appreciation, and support, and respect or admiration. The blacks, Negro slaves, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years. That means the slaves' children right now, brothers and sisters, are doing the same thing that their parents and grandparents and great-great-great-grandparents were trained to do. Just for clarity purposes here. That means we have people right here today who are still suffering from the indoctrination of the slave masters 300 years or 300 plus years ago at the time of the writing of this book. or this manual for how to control the Negro, now mental slaves. Again, the black slaves, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male. The young black male against the old black male. Why ageism is a wicked and it's evil and it's of Satan, it's of the devil. Our book says you're supposed to honor and respect the elders. And our book tells we're supposed to train up a child in the way that they should go. Where's ageism in there that Yah says should be a separation? Does not exist. Well, it does exist among us because we've been indoctrinated, we've been niggerized. Talking about many in Yashar'El. But let me continue. So you must use the dark-skinned slaves versus the light-skinned slaves. And this is appropriate for your so-called Black History Month, by the way. So focus on the past, you're not dealing with what's going on in the present. And you have no plan for the future, because if you knew what the future held, you would make sure that none of these descriptions fit you. But all people, head in the sand, pining away, complaining, gonna, almost wanna, waiting, while they do absolutely nothing to close the gap. The gap of ignorance, self-hatred, loving the enemy more than you love your own. So you must use the dark-skinned slave versus the light-skinned slaves. The light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves. You must use the female against the male. I'll say that again. You must use the female against her man. And you must use the man against his woman. You must also have your white servants and overseers distrust all blacks. So these are your supervisors, your managers. Your so-called best friend who's white. And I'm talking this is Edomite whiteness I'm talking about right now, because this was set apart directly at the descendants of slaves. It had nothing to do with the Canaanites and the Hamites. This got everything to do with the Edomites and what's happening right now to us all over this flat earth as we relate to one another versus how we relate to our natural enemy, the so-called white man. Let me continue on. You must also have your white servants and overseers don't trust your blacks. While you over there thinking they love you, they sitting there suspicious of you and watching your every move. Every change of your disposition, they're taking notice of and more than happy to tell you about yourself. And because we have such a low lack of self-esteem, we let them tell us. Not we in all, we in some of us. We and far too many of us. Let me make that crystal clear. Because there ain't no white devil telling me shit. Unless it's something I asked or something I don't mind hearing. But correct me, no. I'll be damned. If y'all can't do it, and one of my like-minded brothers and sisters who y'all may have guided to do it, in particular my brethren, let me emphasize the brethren, because you got a lot of these sisters out here, you talk too much. You think you know what you don't know. God didn't create you to be over the man. In no way, form, or fashion. You got to go back and read the beginning, how it all came to be. Before you come over here messing with me. And get your little wretched ass told off. Talking about the disrespectful female. You must also have your white servants and overseers, again, distrust all blacks. It is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. Who is us? White folk. That's who he's referencing here. Say, gentlemen, these kids are the keys to controlling them. Use them, and you have your wives and your children use them, and never miss an opportunity. If you use them intensely for 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful of each other. He ends by saying, thank you, gentlemen. Again, I think this is appropriate, my brothers and sisters, because All of these things that are going on all over this earth, you know, y'all, we all know about the Super Bowl and that whole big indoctrination yesterday. You saw, I shared on the other channel, possibly on this channel, that you were going to see a lot of occultic signs. Did you not see the pyramids? Did you not see Samuel Jackson out there looking like Stephen from Django? You know, yes, Stephen! You know, that nigga. Love the master more than the master love himself. Always got an excuse for the master. Always got an excuse for white folk. The good white ones. That's how you know who a Stephen is. In other words, you know, what Malcolm called the house N-word. You always could tell them. They will fight for them. They will defend them with their last inch of strength. Because they're indoctrinated and they're so engulfed with what they are, they don't even realize that that it makes them small. And while they're running around here celebrating some Black History Month, the new slave is out here still shucking and jiving. You saw that in the thing last night, in that Super Bowl halftime show. I didn't watch the game. I didn't even watch the halftime show. I went back and looked at it this morning. And you had a bunch of, you know, hood rats acting thuggery, playing right into the perception of how these heathens think of us. Numbered a bunch of gangsters and thugs and hoodlums and you know, and wretched women. Always want to be dancing and showing their ass instead of being modest and discreet. Always got something to say instead of bringing out something helpful for your people and creating something helpful for your people so that you will always have something resourceful to do. But our people would rather seek them for business opportunities, you know, or seek them, you know, for pleasure, or better said, allow them to use us as a business opportunity, the exploitation of our people, and for their pleasure. And their pleasure is a broad scope, brothers and sisters. I'm talking about the so-called heathen white man and heathen white woman in some instances. You know, if you want to keep a woman or man ignorant, tell them that Yah does not exist, or tell them, you know, that the heathen know what's best for them. What the heathen say is more palatable. And then give them little trinkets here and there. Do some things, you know, for them. And they will love you more than they love life itself. They'll become totally blinded of what they're here to be doing. And they become useful tools. Just as Willie Lynch described it in his Willie Lynch letter. Take them, make sure you learn how to make them envious of each other, jealous of each other, distrustful or fearful of one another. And you make sure you teach them to love us, to adore us, to respect us, to honor us. And he said, if you can get this done in 1 year's time, he said, their children will teach their children, and their children's children will teach their children all the way until the 21st century. And here we are. White ice is a hell of a lot colder than black ice. If the white man said, he gotta be right. While your people are swinging on the trees, you know, and their bodies are rotting. And you don't even care. And you not the new slave? Michelle Alexander had a book called The New Jim Crow. Interesting read, but she's one of those little woke universalists, so I don't give no true credit to her, and I'm not advising you to go read the book. But she was saying the new Jim Crow is just is a hidden form of racism that is not so obvious anymore. It's subtle. And they're using people like Kendrick Lamar and using people like Kanye West and using people like Kyrie Irving to create this image of us, of ignorance, personified, unintelligent beast, a burden. And many, so-called Israelite men or black men, African American men, which is a total oxymoron. How can you be an African American after two continents named after white men? But I digress, because I don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill. There is a social engineering going on and indoctrination among our people, and most of these men are afraid to talk about it for fear that they'll lose some privilege, some business opportunity, or some pleasure, some sexual access possibly. And even worse, because they can't get it from the heathen, they bring this hatred and they project it upon us when they can't get it from the heathen. If the heathen gives them what they want, they're happy. The heathen rejects them and don't give them what they want, then they internalize their bitterness upon their own people and too ignorant to even see it. They don't see the little subtleties. They don't think that, those of us who are wise in wisdom from you, that we don't discern your behavior shift. We see you clearly. You might as well just have a neon sign on your dumb, nappy, stringy, hairy head or whatever kind of hoary head you have that says, "Look at me. Please me. I will destroy all of y'all." Except for my white master. He can treat me like, shit because, after all, white privilege is supreme. At least in my house. Your mind, not your residence, in your mind. In your house, white supremacy reigns supreme. And when you're confronted with it, talking about Israel as a collective, the first thing they want to start, "Oh, you're a racist, or you're a bigot, or you're angry, oh, you must be an angry man." Yeah, give me a sword, and give me a shovel, and give me a box, and I'll happily show you, you filthy mouth heathen, how angry I am. I won't struggle with the opportunity to assist you with those tools that you can provide, rather than running your stupid mouth. It is what it is. I don't trust my enemies. Tolerate, when necessary, affiliate. When under extreme demand, because I'm looking to maneuver, cooperate. But submit, acquiesce to them, never gonna happen with me. Never has happened, by the way. See, I have enough sense to not trust, my adversaries, not because I'm a racist or I'm a bigot. Do you know in the scripture it tells you not to do it, brothers and sisters? Do you know in the scriptures it tells you don't learn the ways of the people who are around you, their customs, their traditions? He didn't even want us embracing their I was going to say their languages, which I'm sure that's a part of it. But he said, have nothing to do with them. Well, what about the righteous stranger? What about him? Why do you care? See, that's the problem right there. Why do you care about the righteous stranger? Why do you care? You see how people are quick to point that out. Well, what about the righteous stranger? No, why don't you just tell me what are you going to do to help your brothers and sisters? Let's not talk about some stranger. Why don't you talk about you and I? Us, we. Let me help you something. The reason you go there It's because there's something not quite right with you here. It's called you've been indoctrinated. You think white folk, when people start talking about how they doing this and doing that, and then they shame or say all kind of wicked, evil, perverse things about it, you think the first thing that comes to one of their minds, well, what about the good nigger? You think that's what they say? What about the good one? You think that's what comes up in the conversation? I guarantee you it doesn't. They don't even think about anything like that. They're busy trying to find ways to ravish this earth. Trying to do business so they can use us as their pleasure. Just as he stated. But here we are, looking around, trying to figure out which one of them to love. How about you take all that energy and just love your people? How about you take all that energy, my brother, and love yourself? And if you love yourself, you learn about yourself. And in learning about yourself, you learn how to be useful to those who are like you. Otherwise, you are useless to us. You're nothing but a weapon in the hands of our enemies. Truth be told, you're an adversary. And we need to treat you as such. Again, I bring this up because it's time appropriate. This heathen, who's in charge now. He's got all these heathens lathered up now. They all got their head and their chest poked out. And that's why I say to my brothers and sisters, you got to be special kind of stupid if you're not locked and loaded about right now. I'm just telling you the truth. Because they're going to come. The book said they're going to come. They're going to surround us. Go read the book of Joel, chapter 3 in particular. And they're not going to give a damn if you're a house nigger or a field nigger. That can be the farthest thing from their minds. I was listening just yesterday, to one of the little wicked news stations. And they were talking about how that now Trump is talking about looking at Ecuador and how Ecuador president has done El Salvador, how their president done a good job locking up everybody. So crime's gone down, murder's gone down. And they think, well, wouldn't that a great idea? Maybe we ought to start taking our people that we arrest and sending them down to El Salvador. And somebody said, what about habeas corpus? They gotta have that time. Oh, we can worry about that some other time. Right now, we just need to just get them out of here. And you know what word they did not use, my brothers and sisters? Immigrants. They didn't say immigrants. They said criminals. Anybody caught in commission of a crime. And so what did you do yesterday in your halftime show? You showed, a criminal atmosphere, a criminal culture before the whole world. Strictly Israelites. Talking about murder, talking about killing. You better go back and listen to what I told you, that heathen. Talking about that first K of the KKK. I told you they're not your friends. And I'm an Israelite. So now he's associating Israelite with thuggery. That's my Kendrick Lamar. Who you think is your friend because he got something to say about Drake. He ain't like us. Who gives a shit about Drake? Oh, I forgot. Far too many Israelites do. I hope he gonna sing that song. How'd that make you feel? Because he sung that song. Did you feel liberated? Did you feel informed? Did you feel educated? Did you feel strong? Did it increase your love for your brethren? And I'm not saying Drake, whatever his name is. He's a heathen. He's an Edomite. Daddy is white. So what I'm saying to my brothers and sisters, don't hold me to that allegedly. I might get it. Maybe it's mama. But again, at the end of the damn day, he ain't like us. But neither is Kendrick either. He pretends to be. He's that overseer. He's that head nigga in charge. The influencer. So that you don't listen to those who will educate you. You run over there to him. And what is he? I'm an Israelite. Then he showed Israelite in total thuggery as gangsters. Crip walking, all that foolishness. You know what I'm talking about. I think Serena Williams' wicked ass was up there crip walking. She looked like Serena Williams. But for the whole world to see, look at them. Them Israelites ain't nothing but a bunch of thugs. You don't think that I can't see that coming? They're going to associate us as Yashar'El as being everything negative, brothers and sisters. When you take claim of this throne that Yah has reminded you who you are, kings and queens and wonderful, beautiful, marvelously made, fearfully and wonderfully made, marvelous, behold, Psalms 139, 8, 9, 10. That's how Yah sees you. And yet this heathen, say he's an Israelite, got out there and showed us just the opposite. A bunch of gangbangers. And you going anywhere, oh, it's the worst show we ever seen. That's just cold word, good job, nigga. I know some of y'all don't like me using the N-word. Quit playing. What's negative about the N-word? Please don't tell me because the heathen using it. The heathen you love, that's why you are, the heathen you work with. Why you care about what they think, or what they use, what they don't use. Nigger comes from Negro, which comes from Ibu. There's a whole nation called Negro land that we once dwelled in. They just shortened it and said nigger. Probably because they were idiots and couldn't say the word Negro, so they say nigga. I wouldn't take offense to no word. But on the other hand, I would take offense to those among us who don't seem to love us, or some perverted love for us. Male against female, remember? Female against the male, remember? The young against the old against the young, remember? The fine hair against the nappy hair, remember? The talented one versus the untalented one, remember? The one who's got privilege versus the one who doesn't have privilege, remember? I just read it all to you. Use their differences and make their differences bigger. And then you exploit those differences. And while you're exploiting them and teaching them to fear and distrust and envy, teach them to love and honor and respect and adore us. Now you tell me that ain't going on right now. What kind of Negro History Month that eludes or excludes our biblical text, which is our accurate history? It excludes that and tell you to worship dead men. And most of these people that tell you to worship, they were people who were in how you say, for lack of better words, these were people who were white sponsored. W.E.B. Du Bois, NAACP, Dr. King, SCLC. Those were all white Jewish money backed organizations. Harriet Tubman, who was her so-called friends, if she ever even really exists, who was financing her? Sure wasn't black money. Frederick Douglass, who was financing him? Abolitionist white money, again. If you want to know what drives or what rules a person's mind, look at who supports them. Look and see who are their source of provision. Then you'll know who they are. At least in a crisis, they'll show you who they are loyal to. In normalcy, I love y'all. But in the crisis, oh no, they're going to stick right there to them. They're going to go to who butters their bread. Or better yet, who butter their toast. Nigger bread. Well, I'm here to tell my brothers and sisters, wake up. Stand up. Come together, fight for one another. If you truly love Yahuwah, then you love your brethren, and you love your brethren exclusively. You don't waste your time thinking about some heathen and how they may or may not feel. You leave that to them to decide what they're going to do. We don't advocate on behalf of those who are the seed of our enemies, whether they profess to be righteous or not. We don't advocate for them. Let them advocate for themselves. They're going to throw some of you in El Salvador pretty soon. They're going to lay off most of you, especially if you're in any service job, administrative job, Then what you going to do for income? All you sisters out here, or you self-sufficient, you don't need a man, you just need a bag. What you going to do? How those song go, bad boy, bad boy, what you going to do? What you going to do when they come for you, bad boy? Because they're coming. And I could have just easily changed the word to girl. What you going to do when they come for you, sister? You've already told your men you don't love them, you don't care enough about them to fight for them, to go above and beyond for them. What you going to do when the enemy comes for you? Have you even thought about it? You're going to run to Jesus. No, you're not. He's the devil. He's the one inspiring all of this wickedness. I'm going to run to Yah. No, yeah, Yah's the one who's bringing the evil on you because of your hardness to your own people. The Most High said woman will be saved in childbearing. The Most High said woman come of man, her man. That he should rule over her. But you say, oh no, nobody gonna tell me nothing. Well, except if, it's me, if he's my owner, then he can tell me whatever he wants to tell me. As long as he's not melanated, I mean. But that I say to my brothers and sisters, you hear that shofar blowing in the background, that clock ticking? It's blowing for you, wartime, ticking for you because you're out of time. Now I can waste more time dialoguing, trying to persuade you, which many who or you are listening, you're far beyond being persuaded. You've already made your mind up. I'm your enemy now because I told you the truth. What did I misquote? Who ever told you to love your enemies? Where you got that from? Oh, you quote Jesus? Yahuwah never called you, never said that he was married to you. You're taking the Hosea out of context. He was talking about relationship to Yashar'El, not to no woman. Yes, Yahuwah used metaphor, wisdom as a woman, the land as a woman, Yashar'El as a woman. And some of you, because you lack intellectual credibility, in other words, you're going off with something you think versus what you actually know. If he's sovereign, he will have no other Elohim, female or male. But you run off with that because it sounds good. Makes you feel better about yourself. That I'm just married to Yahuwah and Yahuwah's got me. You are bamboozled. You don't know what you're talking about. Do you think for 1 second that any of us can be out of Yahuwah's order and Yah is still with you? You are out of your mind. As I said before, some of my brothers said you need to go read Leviticus chapter 21 and see the standard for which Yah has for those who can come before him. And you got many of our people in all kind of abominable, crisscross, relationships that are unclean before you who know it, and they haven't done anything to address it other than some tokenism. And the same people will project their wickedness on you if you don't appease them, but they never see themselves as they are. And they will not repent. You can believe that. So that's what the Yahuwah say. That's why he said, they're marked for damnation. They don't know it. They don't know it. They don't care to know it. They've been, what did Willie Lynch say? They've been indoctrinated. Indoctrinated. Look the word up. I'll look it up and I'll put it, put it in the description, but I'll put it in the comments. Like, I ain't gonna pin it, it's gonna be there. Indoctrination, in case you don't know what it is. Isn't that what he said? Just indoctrinate them. Get them to believe that their enemies are their friend and that their friends are their enemies. Get them to hate the men from which they were born. Deuteronomy 28:56 talks about her. Says she's tender and she's delicate. In other words, she's so foolish. She's brutish. She's arrogant, prideful, high-minded, stubborn. Will only give when she gets. Or when it feels good, or whenever they're being, satisfied. Or maybe every now and then they get just a good little hump in the bump and just say, okay, I'm just going, I'm going to go out and do some charity work. Like, I recognize that foolishness. All the time. Total violation to what Yah says. And again, as many of you start bringing up these heathens, they go on the warpath against their own people. Defend them at all costs. He's a good white nigga. Since they say he's a good black nigga, so I guess he's a good white nigga then. Why not? Same rules apply. Black History Month, a new slave. A 21st century new slave. Now taking upon now taking upon, not even dispensation. It'll come to me. But in other words, they're taking on this whole new persona. There you go. So they're taking on this new persona. I'm an Israelite. I'm an Israelite man. I'm an Israelite woman. And at the same time, still carrying on the behaviors when they were Negroes and African Americans and blacks and coloreds. And it don't matter where you're from. The islands, the Caribbeans, the Philippine islands, doesn't matter. Pacific Islanders, doesn't matter. The continents, doesn't matter. They're everywhere. Wherever Yashar'El has that self-hatred mentality, wherever they are, you will never see them working together as a collective. And when one of them in the Yashar'El, like myself, rises up, you can better believe, like flies being drawn to shit, they're going to come and attack. And put that maggot, spread their maggot. You know what a maggot is, right? It's a baby fly. And spread the abomination among their own people. Under the guise of, no, you just don't understand me. I don't have to understand you. I'll overstand you. You've been behaving like this, for 400 or 500 years. You're just like your elders. But then some of us are actually woke up for real. Some of us are saying, hey, look, I ain't following no heathen. And by the way, I want to thank my sister Angelina. Brother my brother Cameron, Sister Simpson, Brother Cruz, Brother Starks, Brother Keith. Always showing up when you need it the most. Your brothers and sisters, looking outside at the heathens for love, you ain't going to find it. What you're going to find are looking for these traitor Israelites, the Kendricks and the Kanyes and the Kyries. You think they worried about you while they live in their gated community mansions? When they come out here and do a crip walk for you? Crip walk your ass right into the penitentiary. Right into them FEMA camps. And while you over there, just bouncing your head, shaking your ass. Oh yeah, the heathens get pleasure out of you. That's what you're here for business and pleasure. That's what Willie Lynch said. To make sure you teach your white servants and your white overseers to don't trust them either now. Well documented, but even worse, very easy to measure. The new slave, which is the old slave. Rejecting Yah for man. Projecting onto Yah what they want to project onto Yah. And when Yah words come, it hits their heart like water on the duck's back. It just rolls right off of them. The book says they hear the word, but they're not going to do it. Remember the book of Ezekiel 33 and 30 said, yeah, they will hear the word, but they're not going to do it. They're only going to do the little part that works out for them. But they ain't going all the way. They ain't going from pillar to post. No, not for Yah. Too much to lose, not enough to gain. That's their mentality. I'll only go so far. And I ain't making no unnecessary sacrifices that relates to giving up my, Negro white privilege. Y'all writing it down. As they pine away. All pining away, brothers and sisters, is not just sitting around at the house watching TV. Other pining away is just living your life, in the abyss. Purposeless. Waiting for Yahuwah to come. Well, when he does come, he ain't coming for you, not for them. Yahuwah is a man of war. What war are you fighting? Yahuwah say Israel is a nation of warriors. What war are you fighting? David said the strength of Yahuwah teaches my hand to war, my fingers to fight. What war are you fighting? Outside of war in your own nappy head. Don't get mad at me. That's what the heathen said about your coarse hair. Your dreadlocks and your locks and your curls. And your weaves and your processes. Your hot combed hair. And your nappy head too. Just as wicked. Many. So somebody will speak up and somebody will speak out. Why? Because Yahuwah demands it. And you know what he's going to do? He ain't going to go pick no Kendrick. He's not going to go pick no Lamar. He's not going to go pick no Kendrick, no Kanye, or no Kyrie. He's not going to pick them. How do I know this? I'll give you an example better. When Yah took the kingdom from Saul because Saul was pleasing people, pleasing his enemy, Agag, king. Saul was making a covenant with him. Well, he okay. He ain't like the rest. He's a friend. What did Samuel say to Saul? Didn't y'all say don't trust any of them, utterly destroy them? Did not Sirach 12 say never trust thy enemy? Not you could if you wanted to. He said never trust any of them. So what happened in 1 Samuel chapter 18, 1 Samuel chapter 15, and then go to 1 Samuel chapter 16. 15 is where he stripped Saul of his authority, at least of his anointing, better say. He still had his authority, but he had no more anointing. So a lot of our people now, they think that Yah with them because they're still in a comfortable position. But they have no more authority, not before Yahuwah. Yahuwah ain't working for them anymore. He'll give you a second, third, 7 chances. But them chances gonna run out, brothers and sisters. Saul ran out of chances, but he still was looking for Yah, Yahuwah. But what Samuel said, he's gonna find somebody better than you. And then when he went to David, here's back to the Kanye, Kyrie, and Kendrick. The Negro KKK. The Israelite KKK. So he goes to Jesse. And Jesse has 8 sons. And when Samuel goes in there, he's saying, okay, this is the first son. Seems like he's the most talented. He's a warrior. He's a soldier. He said, got to be this one. Then he said, no. He said, no, it can't be. The next one. He went to the next one. And Samuel finally got to the last son. And he's like, it ain't none of these who are present. These are none of these who are at the dinner table. These are none of these who have prestige. He said, do you have another son? Just said, yeah, I got one. He out there with the sheep. But he's a runt and nobody really gives a shit about him. He said, go get him because we ain't doing nothing till you bring him in here. And sure enough, they brought David in there. And as soon as he saw David, he saw the anointing of Yahuwah. And Yahuwah had to remind Samuel, man judges the outer appearance, but Yahuwah judges the heart. I judge what's in him. And if you know about David, the rest of the story is history. So Yah's not looking for the prominent ones, brothers and sisters. He's looking at the one people most likely not to think it's the one. That's the one Yah has his hand on. And I'm not talking about fake modesty either. You got a lot of fake modest people out there. I love the Lord. He's been good to me. I love the Lord. He ain't looking for your wicked ass. Not them. He's looking for the strength of Yashar'El. The Lion of Judah. One who say, I'll put my trust in Yahuwah so that I'll never be confounded. That one. Psalm 71:1, right? But here we are, 2025, still living the Willie Lynch dream, seeking others over there who have a dream, and they're so-called black. I have a dream that one day, we can all just love, we can all just get along with everybody. But Yah said clearly, when you go into the land for which you dwell, learn not the ways of the nations around you. Now how you going to settle that? You're going to just dispute Yahuwah then. So you know better than he knows. And to be told, 9 out of 10 Israelites feel that way, that they know better than Yahuwah. 9 out of 10 brothers and sisters feel that way. Could be some of you feel that way. I don't feel that way. I know better. Because there is a 1 out of 10 that's going to be redeemed, a righteous remnant who know their role, know their calling, and won't compromise it under any circumstances. If it ain't legal in this book, they're not doing it. I'm talking about this book. Now can I show you my Torah? This is a real Torah now. No New Testament foolishness lies anymore. This is a real, genuine Torah now. I mean Tanakh, with the Torah inside. I have a second one that was gifted to me. Guess what? I scalped it yesterday. I scalped it. I took my scissors and I scalped it. They're like a Native American was scalping them white heathens who came here to steal their land and overthrow their people. And $5 Indians too. Well, the $5 Indians were part of those heathens who pretended to be Native Americans. Or Native Americans stupid enough to make covenants with them. Go ask, what is his name? Not Sitting Bull. It'll come to me. But one of those popular, Native American chiefs, what happened when he made them treaties? Next thing they do, white men speak with 2 tongues. Well, maybe they should have read the Torah. The Torah would have told them exactly this. That's what the Torah would have told. The Tanakh. Torah Tanakh for some kind of concern is synonymous because the Tanakh is just our people walking out the Torah. So to me, it's one and the same. Okay, I was just looking over here. I saw something here I thought maybe y'all may wanted me to bring out, but obviously you want me to go back to this. You've heard it before, and I'm going to say it again. We're going to grind it to powder. Teaching is repeating till learning has occurred. David said it better. He said, I will meditate on Yah's Torah day and night. Then you will be strong. Then you will be healthy. And then you will prosper. Meditation means repeating, repeating, repeating. So we're going to do a little repetition here. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust your enemy, for as iron rusts, so is his wickedness. Though he be humble and go sniffing or crouching like a dog, take good heed and beware of him. And you shall be unto him as you have wiped a looking glass, and you shall know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away. So they know how to put on a charade. So they're good at shape-shifting. They're good at hiding in plain sight is what he's saying. They're master deceivers. You have to expose them through the word to actually see them. Will they obey the word or not is what I'm saying. That word shines that light on them. Then you'll see him. If you don't know Yah's word, you won't see it. Or if you're rebellious, then you'll just agree to disagree with Yah. Whew. Dangerous move. Set him not by you, lest he overthrow you. He will stand up in your place. Neither let him sit at your right hand, lest he seeks to take your seat. He said, don't let him sit at your right hand. So where's this compromising? Where is this, specialness coming from here? He said, you don't let them sit at your right hand. Lest he take your seat, and you at last will remember these words, and then you're going to be regretful. Y'all say, okay, test me. He said, they will come, you're going to regret it. You're going to get left behind, and you're going to be done. And when they come for you, they're going to get you. And Yah is not going to protect you no matter what you think. Yah is not a man that he should lie, or son of man that he should repent. If he said it, he's going to do it. He said, never trust them, don't make no covenants with them, don't learn from them, don't practice their traditions, don't do any such thing with them. But Willie Lynch said, no, train them to do just the opposite of what Yahuwah says. And you'll have them serving you for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and they're still doing it, the new slave. That don't even know he or she is a slave. But he and her have all the characteristics of a slave. Y'all say they're going to remember when it's too late. Just like in the days of Noah. Y'all, they were warned 120 years. They didn't listen. I'm warning them now, saying, y'all say, never trust your enemy. But you're going to trust them anyway because you want to pick and choose which one is and which one isn't. Y'all said, he didn't say pick which one is and which pick one is. He said never trust them at all, period. And whether it be a righteous stranger, that's for them to decide, not any of us. And we're not supposed to be empathizing with them. All he says for us to not do is just mistreat them. Don't mistreat them. But he don't make no covenants with them. We're not supposed to be doing the hangouts and all this kind of foolishness. Bringing them into the inner circle. They can learn from outside the gate. Not in the damn gate. And the gate is damned if you're letting them in. Who would pity a charmer that is bitten by a serpent? Shouldn't have been playing with the snake. Or who will come near to a wild beast? You should have known better. Alligators eat meat. And to him, you're just food. So you go jump in the swamp. You own it. That's what y'all saying. People are jumping in there with these things, and when these things happen to them, then they're all sitting around, they're like, oh, feel sorry for me, feel sorry for you. Y'all say, who, what he said again? Who will feel sorry? Who will pity a fool when it's charmed by a snake? Verse 14. So one that goes to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins. One that goes to a sinner. If they're not keeping the Torah and it's fulfilling of it, and you going along with them, you're just as wicked as they are. And you can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. You can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a damn pig. Verse 15. For while he will abide with you, while he will abide with you, while he will live with you. But if you begin to fall, he ain't going to tarry to run. He'll be gone. Especially when this heathen come to lynch him for being with you. The enemy speaks sweetly with his lips, but his heart imagines how to throw you into a pit. His words, smooth as butter. That's what David said? Let's go look what David. Let's go to Psalm 55. Look at this. Look what it says here. It said their words. Right? Verse 16. Sirach 12 and 16. Excellent precept. Say the enemy speaks sweetly with his lips. Let's go to Psalm 55. David says, Psalm 55:21, their words were smooth than butter, but war was in their heart. Their words were softer than oil, but yet they had knives in their hands. You think David didn't know about Sirach? Or maybe the writer of Sirach remember what David said. More than likely, that's probably how that happened. But they both were speaking on behalf of Yahuwah. Again, Sirach 12 and 16. An enemy speaks sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagines how to throw you into a ditch or a pit. Yeah, he will weep with his eyes, pretend to be crying if he finds an opportunity or lacks an opportunity. But he will only be satisfied with blood. Really, he said he will not be satisfied with blood. He gonna want your life. If the adversary come unto you, and you shall find him there first, and though he pretend to help you, yet he will undermine you. He will shake his head and clap his hands. I love the way y'all dance. I love the way y'all people be talking. I love the way y'all people be laughing. He will clap his hand and whisper much. But one thing you can be sure, he's a shape-shifter, flip-flopper, two-legged, wicked-ass devil. And many of our people just right here going along with it blindly, all the time. And then when someone speaks up about it, you target your own people by calling us racist and bigots and hateful. How sad. But let me remind you again. Gentlemen, I greet you on the banks of James River in the year of our Lord, 1712. First, I shall thank you, gentlemen of the colony of Virginia, for bringing me here. I'm here to help you solve your Negro problem. Your invitation reached me on the modest plantation in the West Indies, where I have experience with some of the newest and still oldest methods of controlling your black slaves. New and old ways. Ancient Rome would envy us if my program is implemented. You see, Rome will have nothing on what I can tell you how to do. play on their hearts, play on their minds. He said, as our boat sailed on the south of the James River, named for the illustrious king whose version of the Bible, New Testament sorcery, I saw enough to know that your problem is not unique. While Rome used cars and wood as crosses for standing up human bodies along its highways in great numbers, you are here using the tree and the rope on the occasion. Please don't let me pull this out again. Rope. Edomites. Rope. Edomites. As our boat sailed on the James River, named for our illustrious king, whose version of the Bible we cherish. So they love that New Testament, the heathens. Because that heathen say, slave, obey your master, turn the other cheek, love your enemies. All people are the same, no difference between, the male and female, Jew, Gentile. Y'all know the drill. You're better off if you never knew it. They love that book. John Hagee be in that book all the time. Joel Osteen, Joyce Meyer, Paula White, Benny Hinn. Heathen love it. They love it. The Jimmy Graham, lineage, John Hagee, and I said Hagee, Kenneth Copeland, Andrew Womack. They love it. Rod Parsley's of the word, they love it. And they love to have, you Negroes in there applauding them, bowing down and running around and praising them as they, rob you from the hook to the crook, robbing you blind. The Jesse Duplantis, all of them. They celebrate their riches at your expense. Come on, it's Jesus. It's Jesus. Come on, everybody say Yashar'El. He'll fix it for you. That's what he's saying here. Use that Bible on him. He said, while Rome used cars and woods as crosses for standing human bodies along, that New Testament, be clear here, in its highways in great numbers, you are here using the tree and the rope on occasion. I caught the smell of a dead slave hanging from a tree a couple of miles back there. He said, valuable. He said, you losing valuable stock. Don't kill them niggas. Put them in prison. Put them in FEMA camps. Jab them up. Make their brain get calcified. Then sick their women on the men. They love doing that. Just tell their women they're special. Tell their women they're better than their men. And you got them. You got them. And then once all their men have been circumcised, then go in there and slaughter them. When they've been emasculated. Go slaughter the men, and then you can just have your pick of the women. No, not to be wise. To ravage. To be ravished for their pleasure. He says again, excuse me, and the fields are too long for, he says, and your crops are sometimes left in the fields for too long to maximize your profit. So they got to get them back on the cotton field. Got to get you back in them FEMA camps, them labor camps, Guantanamo Bay, again, El Salvador. Who knows where they're going to ship? They're going to ship you like they were shipping those people all around Africa, Katrina, when the people lost it, they shipped them all over the United States. They didn't care. They didn't ask them where they wanted to go. They said, this is where you're going and you're going to like it. Find your way back. They gave them a one-way ticket. And a little government assistance. And when that dried up, told them, now you're on your own. And people still haven't found their way back home. Gentlemen, you know what your problems are? Well, I skipped. You say, for far too long, your fields, the crops are left in the field for far too long to maximize your profit. You suffer occasional fires, and your animals are killed. Gentlemen, you know what your problems are? I do not need to elaborate. This is a white heathen teaching other white heathens, so let's be clear. I'm not here to enumerate your problems, because you got many. 99 problems, but a chick ain't one. I'm here to introduce you to a method of solving them. In my bag, I have a foolproof method for controlling your black Negro slaves. Goodness, a foolproof method. I guarantee every one of you, if you install this correctly, you will control them slaves all the way into the 2020s. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and to make the differences bigger, teach them to hate each other, despise each other. I use fear, distrust, and envy. So if you're running around here fearful of your brother and distrusting your brother, envy of your brother, you are exactly the ones who've been indoctrinated, whether you accept it or not. It's you. Just like when Nathan went up to David and told David gave them this parable about a man who had done in David's eyes evil. David said, "Where he at?" Nathan said, "You the man. You the one, David." But David, unlike most of Yashar'El, he didn't blame somebody else. He wasn't like Saul the people. No, David took personal accountability and responsibility for what he had done. He understood the magnitude of it before Yah, not before men. He had to do his contrition, though. He had to fix the problem. He had to address it. And what he couldn't unfix, he understood that Yah used equity. That means life for a life. He said, these methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of differences and think about them. On the top of my list is age. Make age an issue within Yashar'El. But it's only there because it starts with an A. Then second, use their coloration, light-skinned, dark-skinned. Then use their intelligence, the smart ones, the talented 10th, the boule. The cabal, the secret society ones. The one out of the universities. The heathen groves is what they really are. You can read about them in the book of Isaiah chapter 65. He talked about the eating of the filthy swine, eating the filthy pig, and he said they dwell amongst the groves of the universities where they teach, humanism. Man is everything he needs to be. They don't need the creator. He said, I will give you an outline of the action. Well, let me go back. He said, use their intelligence against them, their size, their sex, the size of the plantation. What kind of, they got a big house or a little house, they live in an apartment or they live, you know what I'm saying? In a multi-complex, duplex, just wherever they live. So use all that against them. So anything you can exploit with them to exploit them and get them to hate it, use it. If they're proud men, use the proud against them. Call them prideful. If they're intelligent men, use their intelligence against them. Call them arrogant. Whatever you have in your hand, use it. Teach them to use it against each other. That way you can keep them under control. Get their entertainers to be their representatives. He goes on to say, fine hair against nappy hair, tall against the short. Now that you have a list of these differences, I give you an outline of the action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. So get them to envy each other and get them not to trust one another. And you know who puts that among us? The heathens teach our people to do exactly this. And many of our people, maybe some of you, are envious of your brothers and sisters, or you don't trust them because of some deep-rooted past issue in life you may or may not have had. Maybe mama didn't love you enough. Maybe papa was a rolling stone. I don't know. But I know Yah could have fixed that for you long ago. But you won't let him because you got it all in control and he listens to you. You don't listen to him. He listens to you. Like a bull with titties. That is not going to work. We're here to serve him, not the other way around. He blesses us through our submission to him. His redemption for us is our submission to him. Submission means not, oh, hallelujah, let me pray. No, that submission is learning about him, studying about him, and using what you've learned and studied and live your life accordingly, and make sure your difference is impacted or is being, utilized among your brothers and sisters where they are able to be beneficiaries of it. Exactly why I do what I do. Whatever knowledge Yah has bestowed upon me, you all are getting it and hearing it. Whatever leadership skills that he gave me by letting the heathens train me to lead, you are the beneficiaries of it. Whatever love that he has given me deep in my heart, and that's much love, where it overflows out of my mouth, my diarrhea mouth, some of you want to call it. I share it with you. I don't pine away in it. It's not mine to keep, it's mine to give. If your heart was righteous before you would do the exact same thing. See, I show you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy stronger than adulation, respect, and admiration. So teach them not to trust each other, not to respect each other, to dishonor their elders, dishonor their men. And that's running rampant in Yashar'El now. Totally out of control. Totally out of control. The very thing that protects and divides, you despise. The very thing y'all put in to protect the children and the women and provide for the women and the children, you're despising them. Under the guise of feminism. I am woman, see me roar. You're a lesbian trying to roar. That's what you are. You got a lesbian spirit in you. You might be heterosexual, but that spirit that guides your brain is a lesbian spirit. That's why you're so arrogant and cocky and nobody can tell you anything. You better deal with it before y'all deal with you. My dear sisters. Not all of you. But far too many of you. I'll go as far as to say most of you. The black slave, after receiving this indoctrination, you carry on. It will become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years. The chain effect. How you say? The butterfly effect. It's just morphing and morphing into something else worse and worse and worse and worse. And now look where we are today. Our entertainers are our leaders. Our clergy are wolves in sheep clothing. Homosexuals, pedophiles, flat out liars. And that's the minimal on the list. Dumb, greedy dogs. Let me add that too. Yeah, they teach you self-help. Teach you to help themselves at your expense. But right here, 2 channels, in a midweek Bible study, and Shabbat message. Far too many of our brothers and sisters won't do anything to support and help. Won't even thumb up a message, let alone give to the work. But again, I am grateful for those of you who do. And Yah sees you. We're going to get before Kingdom one of these days, brothers, each and every one of them. And y'all going to look at me and say, well, DFG, what you did with your life? And I'm going to say, well, Yah, I teaching and, I always cared about the people. Even when I was, in corporate America, I was always looking out for, I didn't call them Israelites at the time. I called them black. But I was always looking out for my people, promoting them and training them and teaching them and giving them second and third and fourth chances, hiring them when nobody would hire them. I did the best I could with what I had, Yahuwah. I got run off too many jobs because I was helping too many of our people. And then what else you did when, what else you did when you were done with that? Well, then I started, a channel and I started teaching them, studies and putting up videos and let them see my transformation from a believing in the heathen God Jesus to now standing for you and you owning Yahuwah. And then, I've done this and they say, okay, all right, DFG, okay, I get it. Next, what you do? Because we in the same line. So you go on in, DFG. Next, what you do? Well, I had a job. I didn't ask you where you work. I said, what you do? I had children. He said, I didn't ask you if you had children. I said, what you do? Well, I went to church. He said, what is a church? I'm not in a church. You talking about those buildings y'all run down there, those Baal temples? I was never in there. What else did you do? Well, I celebrate Black History Month. He said, what the hell is Black History Month? You know where we necromance the dead. At that point, he's going to clear his throat. Okay, all right, okay. But he's not really clearing his throat because something caught in his throat. He's clearing his throat because he's about to go in. They say, okay, what else did you do? Well, I listened to the messages that DFG, the guy that was, I listened to his messages. Well, did you do any of it? Well, I didn't think I was supposed to do it, and I didn't feel like I was obligated to him to do nothing. Okay. You see that big old sign over there say shame and contempt? Head there. Now you can make up that little metaphor that I just gave you or what you want, brothers and sisters. But that's going to happen to many of our brothers and sisters. They're going to go before y'all thinking, because they just did what they want to do, that y'all's going to recognize that work, and he's not. He want to know, what did you do for the kingdom, not for yourself? How did you contribute to the kingdom work, not your own work? What did you do? And I don't hear nothing about you took care of your children. You wouldn't be able to take up anybody if I wouldn't give you the means to do it. So I want to know what you did for me, for my work. How did you help the leadership? How did you help the prophets, the watchmen, the teachers? How did you help them? The righteous remnant. What you do for them? And some of us going to come up short. I don't say a day late and a dollar short. Thinking you were in and you were totally out. Now let me finish this up. Willie Lynch. You must use the dark-skinned slave versus the light-skinned slave. The light-skinned slave versus the dark-skinned Negro slave. Because it was Negroes he was talking about. You must use the Negro female against the Negro male. So-called African-American now, a Israelite female. So you got to use the Yashar'El female versus the Israelite male. You got to use the Israelite male versus the Israelite, Yashar'El, however you want to say it, female. You must also have your white servants and your white overseers distrust all blacks. And we got many folk who call themselves our friends, but they don't trust you as far as they can throw you or toss you. You just don't know it because just like Sirach said, they changed their faces. They're masters of deception. See, it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on the white man. They must love and respect the white man or trust the white man only. Have your wives and your children use them like tools. Never miss an opportunity. Take advantage of them for your business and pleasure. And if you use this intensively for 1 year, that damn Negro slave will remain a perpetual slave and disdainful to each other or hate one another for not hundreds of years, 1,000 years. Message to the new slave. Maybe I'll title it that. But this I'll say, my brothers and sisters, time is short. And many of our brothers and sisters right now who despise this truth, despise this word. You're running out there, caring about everything else, but you don't care about where your soul going to spend eternity. You are making a grave mistake. You will live to regret it. That old saying, you're gonna regret the day that you were born. You playing with Yahuwah. And for those of you who love the word but you don't do the word, you too. And those of you who think you got some one-track connection with Yah, like Yah is a whoremonger, because I guess he got you as a whole here, and he got this other whole woman over here, and he got this other whole woman over here. All of y'all bunch of polygynists, one saying y'all all serving, he's all of y'all husband. So I guess that makes you who are polygynists then, right? But you're against polygyny, right? Oh, how the simple love simplicity, the scorner delights in scorning, and the fool hates knowledge. Love you, brothers and sisters. Elder DFG, share the message, thumb it up. Thank you all who are supporting this work. I hope you continue on. Yah will bless you for it. Shalom.